Hello, my name is Sarah Spicer and I work for Milton Keynes Council in the Environment and Waste team. In this video, you will learn about some of the impacts humans have made on the environment and their consequences. We will also look at ways in which we can all make small changes in our everyday lives to improve the environment for both ourselves and future generations. So let's look first at the main causes of environmental damage. They are deforestation and mining, waste management, pollution, and population. What do these all have in common? They are all caused by humans and are happening all over the world. Let's take a closer look at each of these in turn. Deforestation and mining. For example, rocks are mined and extracted for the ores inside, which we use to create metals. Trees are cut down to create wood, cardboard, and paper products. Natural resources are used to create the things we buy and use every day, but there are consequences for the environment. When land is stripped of trees and rocks, the soil is left exposed to erosion from rain and wind. With no vegetation, surface runoff is increased and can cause flooding. Soil is depleted of its fertility and becomes useless. When trees are cut down, they no longer give out oxygen, absorb carbon dioxide, and wildlife loses its homes. Waste management. This is how countries deal with their rubbish and items they no longer want. Done badly, it can have a massive impact on the environment. 80% of the rubbish found in the ocean seas has come from land, where people have thrown rubbish into their local waterways. This not only pollutes local drinking water, but when carried downstream and out into the oceans, rubbish, particularly plastic, can harm sea life, fishes and birds. Rubbish in landfill sites is squashed down and compacted. The rubbish then starts to break down, creating a gas called methane. Methane is known as a greenhouse gas. This means it rises high above our planet where it mixes with other greenhouse gases. They get trapped in the Earth's atmosphere, causing the Earth's temperature to rise. This is known as global warming. In turn, this means seas and oceans become warmer. The polar ice melts, causing water levels to rise, which in turn cause danger and flooding to coastal areas all around the world. The melting ice is also a big problem for the animals such as polar bears and penguins who live there. Hotter temperatures around the world can also increase extreme weather, such as floods, droughts, and wildfires, which endanger human and animal lives too. Pollution comes in many forms, on land, in the air, and water. We have already seen the pollution caused by mismanaged waste, but add to this pollution created by factories and businesses, and there's even more impact on our environment. Water can be polluted by toxic runoff from factories, poisoning the waters and harming wildlife. Air can become polluted by burning fossil fuels and poor working practices, causing breathing problems and illness. Land polluted by chemicals can harm the fertility of the soil and make it useless to grow crops. Population. There are currently over 7.8 billion people living on Earth, and this creates an ever-increasing demand on our planet. Everyone needs food, water, and somewhere to live. More people means increasing production of food, increasing demand on land. More people means more demand for housing and energy. More people increases the need for transportation, both vehicles and the transport networks. Food production, house building, energy creation, and transport create an even bigger demand on our planet's natural resources. As the amount of people living on Earth increases, this magnifies all the environmental impacts we have been looking at so far today. So who will sort it? Whose responsibility is it to help reduce the environmental impacts on our planet? Well, we look to our governments to promote green policies and leadership, to give financial support to environmentally friendly projects and behaviour, to encourage manufacturers to better design products which have less environmental impact, and to set high taxes for products which are not. Why not contact your local MP to ask what they are doing to help promote environmental policies in government? The international organisation called the United Nations, known as the UN, has created 17 key goals for the governments of countries around the world to achieve, many of which are environmental, including affordable and clean energy, ensuring access to affordable, reliable and sustainable energy for all. Sustainable cities and communities, making where we live safe and resilient. responsible consumption and production, for businesses to look at the way they work, and for us all to think about the things we buy. Climate action, how to combat climate change. Life below water, to look after the oceans and seas, such as plastic pollution and overfishing. Life on land, to improve soil quality for growing crops and look after our forests so that we don't lose plants and wildlife. We also need businesses and manufacturers to accept responsibility, so that means designing products that are environmentally friendly, ensuring products can be repaired or recyclable when no longer used, aiming to reduce carbon emissions by transporting goods efficiently, ensuring waste is disposed of correctly or recycled, and finding sustainable waste management solutions that don't harm our planet. Here at Milton Keynes Council, we aim to create local policies and support initiatives that are environmentally good. Here are just a few examples. Milton Keynes already has 22 million trees, and in the year 2022, 500 more trees will be planted as part of the Green Canopy project to celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. We will also be creating more wildlife verges at the side of roads. We were one of the first councils to introduce curbside collection of recycling for residents back in the 1990s with the red and blue box recycling collection scheme. Did you know that none of your black bin bag waste goes to landfill? Instead, we send it to this factory called the Milton Keynes Waste Recovery Park in Old Wolverton, where it's turned into energy. We have introduced low energy street lights which use less electricity to light up and do not need to be replaced so often. The council is investing in public electric vehicle charging points, and we are planning more projects such as electric buses and a fleet of new household waste collection vehicles powered by electricity produced from the very waste they collect. So how can we help? Did you know every day we each make over 3,000 decisions? Some people suggest it could even be 10 times that amount. Those decisions can have an impact on both where we live and our planet. We can all help by being more sustainable. In simple terms, that means thinking about the choices we make every day and how they affect the environment, both now and in the future. It sounds like quite a big thing to do, but actually it's all about small daily actions that have a big impact. Let's have a look at a few ideas of things we can all do to help. Some easy swaps to start with, which you're probably doing already. Swap from plastic throwaway bottles to reusable water bottles, both at home and school. Use a reusable tub for sandwiches and snacks instead of sandwich bags, cling film or tin foil. Use a reusable mug for hot drinks when out and about. Billions of throwaway coffee cups are used every year, which uses over millions of tons of paper and 100 billion tons of water to make them all. Think about what you're buying. Buy locally when you can. Products and food produced and sold near to where you live supports local businesses and also means items have to travel less, reducing the amount of fuel used to get them to the shops. Look at the amount of packaging a product has. Ditch the disposable. Avoid single-use items and look for reusable alternatives. Try and buy products that have been recycled or have recycled content. Think about how we can reduce the amount of stuff we buy. As a society, we strive for the latest electronics, smartphones and clothes. However, this behaviour creates a lot of waste and leads to increased deforestation and mining to obtain the raw materials needed to make these goods. A word of caution: when you are out shopping, look out for greenwashing. This is when manufacturers try to portray their product as being environmentally friendly, but actually it's not. That's greenwashing. Or when companies do things that are harmful to the environment while saying they care about the climate. That's greenwashing. So when you're out shopping, think about how you are being influenced to purchase items. Avoid fast fashion. These are clothes that are made quickly to follow the latest trends. But this means they are not as good quality as they could be. When clothing is cheap, we generally take less care of it and it becomes almost disposable. Fast fashion is not designed to last long, which means we actually end up buying more. Also, these clothes are often made by workers in poorer countries as they are cheaper to pay, and the factories don't have such high health and safety standards. We need to think carefully about the clothing we buy to help reduce the impact on the environment from clothing production. This will help to reduce waste and improve workers' rights. With clothing and other items we own, Try to repair them if they break rather than just binning them. Why not have a go at learning to sew? It's a great life skill that will save you money too. And when you have clothes, games and other household items that you no longer need, drop them off to your local charity shop so that someone else gets to reuse them and the charity gets to raise some money too. For items that cannot be reused, always remember to recycle your paper, cardboard, metal, cans, plastic bottles and tubs. Recycling saves energy as it uses much less energy to recycle a product rather than creating one from new. For example, the energy used to make one brand new fizzy drinks aluminium can could make 20 recycled ones. To recycle a steel baked bean tin saves 70% energy when compared to making a new can. And recycling paper uses 40% energy than making paper from new wood pulp, and it also means we don't have to cut down so many trees to make new paper. Don't drop litter. Unfortunately, some people in Milton Keynes drop rubbish on the ground. This is known as littering. The rubbish can then be blown into local waterways, or streams and rivers, which then travel on into the sea. Litter can also make where we live look messy and can block up drains, causing localised flooding. Did you know you can be fined £125 if you are caught dropping litter? Milton Keynes Council spends over £3.5 million a year keeping our streets clean. Back at home, think about helping to decide what dinners you will have and write a meal plan for the week. Writing shopping lists too can help that you and your family don't waste food. Maybe try to have a meat-free meal at least once a week. A diet that is high in plant-based foods such as vegetables, fruits and whole grains generally has a lower environmental impact. Farming animals uses up a lot of water and farmland and is responsible for 18% of global greenhouse gases. Help save energy by turning off your lights when leaving the room. Switch off your tech too. Properly switch off your TVs, laptops, phones, chargers and other electrical equipment when you are not using them. If left on standby, they still use up electricity. This small change can save energy and money too. So now you have learnt how humans have impacted the environment and the consequences, and the small actions we can each make every day, which will have a big impact and help to improve life for both ourselves and future generations. What will you do differently?